In utter disregard of safety for passengers, Air India ordered its brand new Dreamliner infested with rats to continue its London-Delhi flight and said that the problem will be solved on arrival. Times now has accessed the secret communication between the pilot and the pilot of the Air India Dreamliner from London to Delhi, where the pilot is alerting the control room of a rodent inside the cockpit and under the rudder pedal. The airline tells the pilot to continue the flight and engineering will look at the issue on arrival. Kashif Khusro is breaking this story for us. Kashif, this is a shocking development really. There are protocols in place when rats are spotted on board, but clearly the Air India management itself asking the pilot to carry on with the flight.
Yes, Radhika, it's appalling state of affairs. This communication between the pilot and the Air India control room reveals all. A 15-minute conversation between the pilot and the Air India control room in Delhi of this flight Air India 115 from Delhi to London. As soon as the aircraft took off from Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport, what happened was the pilot writes to the control room on the satellite system saying that he's observed a rodent under the rudder pedal of the cockpit, and during that time he asked for what he has to do next. Surprisingly and shockingly rather, the airline does not respond and just says that the message has been copied. The pilot then says that will you revert to his question. The airline then responds by saying that the necessary action will be taken on arrival, which is 8.5 hours later in London. Remember, Air India does not even have an engineering base as such in London, and this aircraft is taking off from Delhi. So what sources are telling us that the prudent thing to do in this case was the aircraft should return back to Delhi and then fumigated. The rodent should be taken off and then the aircraft will have to take off again. What the safety lapse over here is that this rodent was found inside the cockpit, and the pilot is reporting that this rodent could go up to the nose of the aircraft, and that is where the safety lapse is important to note, that any wires, any aircraft systems could be damaged by the rodent. And clearly these aircraft like a Dreamliner, which is a brand new aircraft the Air India, the airline rather has, are all fly-by-wire. Any small problem inside the systems and it could have a cascading effect on the entire flight. But clearly the airline not really thinking about the safety of passengers or about the aircraft as such, and asking the pilot to continue the flight. This is complete disregard of safety norms, and the DGCA as well as the airline should be answerable in this regard.
We're also being joined on the phone line by aviation expert Captain Dhillon. Captain Dhillon, this is a huge safety lapse. The pilot did his job by alerting the management, but of course the management has overlooked this alert.
You are absolutely correct. Actually, there is a fault. First of all, I would also say that the captain of the aircraft has also the responsibility, the safety of the aircraft. And if he sees a rodent in the cockpit, there's a safety issue. And he didn't require to take anybody's permission. He has to just come back and land. And then on top of that, once it goes, the message goes to the ops control center. There's supposed to be a manager in the ops control center who's supposed to take a decision. And again, he doesn't take a decision. And this is typical of Air India, that nobody wants to take a decision. So they pass it on to the engineering section. Engineering section doesn't want to take a decision. So what do you leave? I mean, the safety of the passengers are in jeopardy. Because if the rat were to bite cable, that can disable some of your flight control systems. It can disable your navigation systems. It can even cause a fire on board. So it's not correct to have a rodent on board any aircraft for any length of time. So I think it's totally against flight safety. And there has to be a serious thought of what kind of a training is being done for pilots and also for the ops control center and the engineers.